Today we're talking about the USS Texas. I know some other people have done this before, but a lot of people asked for it, so let's do it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this American battleship lives up to the name. She was launched May 18, 1912, and immediately saw service off the coast of Mexico when they decided to detain a U.S. gunboat. Alright, call it in the air. Mexico has won the coin toss and elected to receive. She stayed in service there for roughly 2 months and didn't actually shoot at anybody. But with 16-inch guns, she really didn't have to. About every 10 years, she would go through an upgrade. Let me just put it to you this way. Lots of big guns. After a short amount of time of being the U.S. Pacific Fleet's flagship, she headed back over to the Atlantic, which during World War I, she was doing neutrality patrols. I think I said that word right. Just making sure ships could get back and forth across the Atlantic without being pestered by German U-boats. When she found a German U-boat, she fired the first shots of World War I from the United States. Now, she didn't sink the U-boat, but they probably all had to change their pants. The Texas, not thoroughly satisfied with her capability, decided to prove a point. She became the first American battleship to launch a plane. Yes, you heard that correctly. She was not satisfied throwing shells and decided to throw planes. Actually, that was her second point she decided to prove. The planes were used for spotting. Eventually, this technique was adopted by all U.S. battleships. She first saw action in World War II, where she was off the coast of North Africa helping with the invasion. And she fired less than 300 rounds during the entire campaign. That's significant. Now we get into Operation Overlord. Need a better photo. Fuck around, meet, find out. Her job on D-Day was to shell Pointe du Hoc. My French is terrible, I know that's bad. She was supporting the 29th Infantry, the 2nd and 5th Ranger Battalions. Apparently this was the day they finally took the leash off of the Texas. She fired 255 14-inch shells in 34 minutes. That's 7.5 shells a minute. Now satisfied with the amount of damage she's done at Pointe du Hoc, she shifted her guns to the German reinforcements. All of the Nazi reinforcements. She was supposed to be 12,000 yards offshore. Well, by the time she was done unaliving things on the beach and had run out of stuff to kill, she was now 3,000 meters offshore. She had to go back to England to rearm and refit, but was back on station by June 11th. By June 11th, Allied forces had moved so far inland that no one thought the battleships could actually reach targets. Necessity is the mother of invention. In the first ever operational use of the term yeet, the USS Texas now turned its guns portside and started to flood the starboard side of the ship. She was now listing 2 degrees and could reach the targets to help the Allies. In other words, the Texas didn't hear no bell. Eventually, Allied forces moved too far inland for that solution even to work, and by June 18th, she had moved back to England. The USS Texas continued to support for the rest of World War II until she was decommissioned in 1948. She now sits on display at the Houston Ship Channel in La Porte.